What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Ranger Talk episode. And today is a very special episode. I'm talking to none other than the mighty Immortal Guardian. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Just been rocking and rolling. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I just really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's our pleasure, man.
Sweet.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Pleasure's all mine, truly. So would you mind each introducing yourselves and letting everyone know what it is, what your roles in the band are?
Yeah, my name's Gabriel and I play guitar and keyboards.
And amazing backing vocals. And I am Carlos Zima. I'm the singer for Immortal Guardian.
Awesome, sweet. So Gabriel, are you the primary songwriter as well?
We are. We pretty much
Cool, a joint effort.
yeah, we pretty much we'll write a lot of stuff together, and then if it's not together, it's one of us showing up with the majority of the meal, and then the other one puts some spices on top, so but
Yeah.
we usually don't we don't release something unless we're both happy. Like we both have to feel good about the song, So
Sweet.
that's usually our test of that's our meter of, you know what I mean? Like the filter, like if it doesn't pass this filter of both of us approve enough stamp, then the song's not good enough. It's only good enough for one of us or something. So
Awesome.
but yeah, we and then the other dudes they also help write and stuff, a few songs here and there, but they do a great job at like kind of like I said, I always like looking at music like food, and we'll bring them these intricate meals, and they'll put just the right amount of like little extra something on the top, whether it's a cool drum beat or crazy bass or something. But yeah, group effort.
Awesome. So you guys really kind of put together the core of the songs, and then the other members can, like you said, just add a little bit of their own flavor to it, with respect to their instrument or what have you. So that's really cool. I love that when there's kind of a joint effort and not just, not to disparage that songwriting style, but one person writes it all and then everyone just sits there and plays. It's really cool when everyone's kind of invested in the songs and everything. So the band's been around for quite a while now, right? You got some EPs, a couple full-length albums. Could you just kind of tell me a little bit about how the band first started and came together? And then I know, Carlos, you joined a little bit later, right? Could you then tell me about what it was like, you joining and how that went?
Yeah, we essentially started Immortal Guardian like in high school, just as a like a high school band. Like
Yeah.
we all are in a band in high school, and it was just one of those things that just never stopped existing. So it was just like I'm still surprised we're a band to this day. It's just like when you like the music and you really enjoy writing the music and et cetera, it's so easy to just like keep it going. And yeah, no, we've both been in numerous projects. We've played for other people, other theater shows, you name it. We've done all sorts of different things, but at the end of the day, Immortal's always there because that's our like original music outlet. That's what we love to tour most. That's where we get the most creative with our music and our light show and our production. So, it started with just a small group of us, like in, I don't know, like senior year of high school, like a few like light bulbs on the light switch, it was like a light the combo amp. I mean, the very bare minimums, playing in bars and stuff. And then just over the years, I came from a small little Texas town called Harlingen. It's right on the Mexican border. And when we relocated to like the big city, we moved up to San Antonio and Austin. That's when I met Carlos. And Carlos had heard he'd done so many awesome things, and I couldn't believe this dude was like human. I was like, all right, let's see if we can hit him up. What's the chance that I've seen Carlos's videos, but I didn't know that he lived like down the street, like there in Austin. So Texas terms, it's like down the street. So we joined forces in like 2013 or something like that.
It was 2011.
2011.
Yeah, but then
you know,
we started working together beginning
Yeah.
of 2012 and whatnot. So it's
yeah, so it was
almost
like
12 years.
it was like a slow process of kind of like getting things going. But once Carlos came into the band, and we of course took like a 360 with our sound, and, you know, try to keep the progressive elements, but we started going more heavy into power metal, more heavy in the songwriting, less on being like as technical as possible and odd time signatures, and more on like how do we write some catchy, you know, just anthemy kind of melodies and stuff. And
Yeah.
in that time, you know, we've really developed, even with working together, we've developed so much, or we've not developed, but we've matured so much in the way we write music now, you know, like, and especially with the new bassist and drummer over the years, you know, that sound has evolved a lot too. So we're now here on our third full-length album, with M Theory coming out later this year, so we're pretty stoked about that. So
Sweet. Yeah, I was gonna ask about that later, so that's cool to hear. Yeah. Sweet. So yeah, Carlos, you know, as Gabriel mentioned, you've been part of many big projects. You know, you're somewhat of a legend in the power metal scene, you know, with your vocals and all that stuff. So what was it like when you met Gabriel, and what drew you to this project, and what has kept you invested in Immortal Guardian over all these years?
Yeah, well, at the time, I was somewhat, fresh off of Outworld, and
Mhm.
I was working with a bunch of side projects. I did about like 8 albums that year with different bands and bands from all over the world, the projects in Europe, Australia, South America, and whatnot. But at the time, I was trying to just sit down and get a band together. I wrote a whole entire album, recorded just the rhythm guitars, programmed drums. I was trying to get a band together. It was really, really hard at the time to find musicians that can actually execute, that were serious about the music and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, these 2 crazy guys just knocked my door, man. They showed up. Gabriel was like, what, 18 and 17, or that wasn't even like legal to drink yet. And then showed up, and I just heard the music and just blew me out of the water. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was just the spark that I needed to kind of get back to it, man. And since then, honestly, this motherfucker here has just inspired me to do more and more music, because I was very impressed with the talent, very impressed, with the skills, but also with the songwriting. It was something that to me was very fresh compared to what was going on in the scene. I never seen like any power metal that would, adventure more in the progressive side, that would implement more of the heavier stuff with growl vocals and things that I like as well, besides the melodic part. So when I saw that, there was love at first sight, man. It was like, this is the metal I want to do, So that was pretty much it, man. There was like the chemistry was there. There's a bunch of coincidences that actually happened at the time. That same year, they were trying, they released their the first EP with the first singer, and that was on my birthday. And then there was a bunch of like coincidences that happened after that. They had a whole entire song they wrote that I wrote on my album, and basically the same key, almost the same exact BPM with the same structure as well, like verse, bridge, chorus, and then a little outro, another verse, bridge, chorus, and another thing at the end. And there was almost the same exact structure as they. And it was like, what are the odds of this happening?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, if I could have played the lottery and won at that time. But
well, you won something even better, an awesome band and camaraderie. So who needs millions of dollars when you guys have what you have here? So
yeah, dude, that's exactly the point. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Talk about coincidences, all that, and then you guys happen to be so close to each other. But you talking about the sound of the band originally kind of catching your ear, and yeah, there really is a signature sound of Immortal Guardian. It really does sound like something that isn't out there. You know, it's something very unique, and that's always cool to hear from a band when it stands out as, again, not something that you hear every day. So that's really neat.
Thanks, man.
No, yeah, but so Carlos, you play guitar as well? You play
Yes.
instruments?
Yeah, I'm not really a good you know, instrumentalist at all in any in any point, but I just use it for a reference, you know, as a singer, you gotta have your instruments, right? To
Yeah, fair enough.
you know, have your melodic reference,
Mhm.
but that's what I use. I play a little bit of guitar, but you know, not enough for me to conquer that slot in the band as a guitar player, man. Not even close. You know what I'm
Soon,
saying? But one
Soon,
day.
yeah. You get a little solo or something for
It was like 2 weeks, man.
That's how we make shit happen here, man. We
Yeah,
just
man.
make it happen.
That's awesome. Yeah, instead of like, guest solo on track 9 by Carlos, it's like guest 2 strums, 2 chords by Carlos.
That I think I could do.
Sweet. Gabriel, one thing that also makes the band very unique is the fact that you play guitar and keyboard. I'm sure you get that a lot, that people are just like, what on earth? Like, how? And so my question for you is, first of all, what did you learn first? And did you just get to a point where you're like, guitar by itself is too easy, I've mastered it. Keyboard by itself is too easy, I've mastered it. Let me just do both for some challenge.
I like when I first started doing the both thing, it was not out of like never once did I have the intention of like this is gonna be cool on Instagram when Instagram didn't even exist, or like
Yeah.
this is gonna be the next whatever. A lot of people think that I went into it with that mentality. But like I said earlier, I'm from a small Texas town, so just the idea of finding musicians is like there's not a lot of us down there. And there's even less of us that like power metal, that are in your age group, that are this, and that, and a keyboard player. So like the idea of finding a keyboard player was just like, it just wasn't gonna happen. But I know that in the music I like, power metal, there's just so much keyboard. So it's like, and at the time I was like 15 years old, so I didn't know what backing tracks were. I don't know, we could have just put that on So in my mind, I'm like, we need keyboards. That's how we're gonna sound like all our favorite bands. And at the time, I think I was learning how to play those little light up keyboards. It lights up and it shows you how to play.
Yeah.
Like da na 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 na, and you just follow the lights. And
Yeah.
so I was
It's
trying
kind
to
of like
learn.
Simon Says, that game, the memory
Yeah,
game.
exactly. It's like Simon Says. So like
Yeah.
I've never learned how to read music, but I learned how to play these these classical arrangements,
Mhm.
easy versions of these classical songs on a light up keyboard. And I was trying to learn how to play it on guitar, and I didn't have the tab or the whatever, So here I am learning like a nah, nah, okay, nah, nah. So I'm like transcribing the light on the keyboard to the
Wow.
melody of the guitar. So I'm kind of just doing this without realizing kind of what I'm doing. And every time the note matches, I'm like, oh, okay, that's the right note here. That one, okay, that's the right note here. So okay, I'm kind of getting this. This is kind of cool, and I didn't really think about it as like, well, I'm playing 2 instruments. In my mind, I'm like, cool, I'm getting the guitar to match the keyboard, and if it matches the keyboard, technically, I'm playing the melody right. I'm doing this alone in my bedroom, and then some friends, I was hanging out with some people, and they were like, dude, you should do that at the talent show. And keep in mind, I'm still like in like middle school or high school or something. I'm like 15 years old. I was like, I think so. I think it'll be really funny. So I did it at like some school thing. I think it was like the talent show or some big assembly. And remember it was like in the gym. And I did one of my first performances like that, thinking it under the context of comedy. I thought it was gonna be really cool and funny.
Everybody's gonna laugh.
Yeah, and I did I think it was the final countdown, like
Oh, dude, you couldn't have picked a better song. I mean,
everybody was like, yeah, like that was so cool. I was like, you think that was cool? They're like, yeah, you should do that at your shows. And I was like, well, I just started this new band, Immortal Guardian, like a month ago. You know, maybe I should start like bringing the keyboard to shows. And then it just kind of slowly be like, you know what, I'll do this until we find a keyboardist. And then eventually when we get a keyboardist, I can just become guitar player. And then I just slowly became the keyboardist. And then at the time there was this new website called YouTube. And then, you know, the rest
long gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
very short-lived website. Yeah.
friends of mine would be like, hey man, you know, can I post you on my channel? I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but sure. So there's all these videos of me playing on other people's channels. And I started, friends of mine, dude, your video, you know, it's doing good on my channel. You should do this more. You should create your own channel. And then over the years, I was like really hesitant to make content because I was enjoying doing it so much live.
Mhm.
It's still very much that way. Like we love playing live more than we love making content. You know, there's something
Mhm.
about the live show, you know, it's just we like. But little did I know that this was gonna be something that you know, it just with the way the internet went and the way things have been, you know, it just I don't know. I just always laugh when I see comments online like, man, look at this dude, you know, learn how to do this thing so he could make TikToks. And I'm like, man, I was
jeez.
making this shit.
Right.
This shit way before TikTok was a when it meant it was just something on a clock, TikTok, you know.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so that's that long story short, you know, I did it as a temporary thing
Yeah.
until I found a keyboardist. We never found one. And then we used to be a two guitar player band. And then when our buddy Gyro, he moved on to do some other stuff. We are like, do we get another guitarist or do I just learn how to play the harmonies with my right hand? I was like, well, I think I've got enough skill that I can go a little faster. I can go a little more. Because when I first started, I could just do chords and basic things, and then over the years, I trained myself to how to, you know, like do power metal shredding and stuff. So
Yeah.
after that, yeah, I just stuck with it. And then I was blessed like a year or two ago. Carlos and I used to be roommates, you know, when we first moved to Vegas. And I would learn so much vocally from Carlos. So Carlos taught me how to sing and how to just kind of stop squeaking and all that stuff. So that was so that's been the big new journey now, you know, and I feel like it's really changed. Our writing on this new album's changed a lot because we keep looking at, you know, it's not like I'm playing a different guitar or a different keyboard. It's just like the way we approach singing or guitar playing, like over the years it changes so much.
Mhm.
So we're the same guys. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know,
Yeah, no.
you,
It's the same, but it's like always evolving, you know.
yeah.
So that's really cool, and it's just so fascinating to hear that you did this solely out of necessity at first, the guitar and the keyboard, and then it just kind of grew into a signature. Like, I mean, it's something that is very recognizable now, and folks, it blows people's minds. And it's so funny that people think that you do it just to be cool on TikTok.
yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, I still haven't got used to it, man. You know, and you got,
No, it's impressive, man. When you see it, like it doesn't get old.
I know, and he's performing now, singing, dude, like whole sets. You know what I'm saying? Like all over Las Vegas and whatnot, and fucking killing it, bro. He's
Wow.
singing better than I do right now,
Yeah.
bro.
I know. What have you done, Carlos? You're going to be out of a job now.
I know. No, Immortal Guy could totally perform right now with him singing.
Carlos has a job because I'm paying him to say all this right now.
Yeah. All right, here, I'll give you this and just say really good things about me. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, dude. But when he's learning like new songs or writing it, you see him working both instruments at the same time as he's learning it, bro. It's just mind blowing, brother. I'm telling you right now, it's crazy.
But yeah, man, it's just it becomes a part of your DNA, you know. It really weird. Like what was weird is when we first moved to Vegas, you know, we started getting a lot of work from all these different theater shows, casino. Hey, would you like to be a part of this production for a little bit? You know, try it out. I was like, sure. And when I moved to Vegas, it was the very first time I got offers to just play guitar or just play keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what the? It's literally like. It's weird. It's like you took off your left shoe.
Yeah, it's like you're like ghost playing. Like people see you playing guitar and see your hand like this. They're like, "What on earth is he doing?" There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So I don't really take those gigs anymore. You know, you get like with me, you get 2 for 1 kind of thing. But yeah, for the longest time, it's just I just it became so natural, and then now it feels weird to. It's like asking Carlos to sing really quietly after he's been so many years. Oh yeah, it's like
I
right.
know.
The hell, you know?
Yeah, tone it down a little bit. That's something you don't say to Carlos. No, no,
But
it's
it's been a fun evolution, and it's what's even cooler is just seeing like people doing it now online, doing their own interpretations of it with different styles and different things, and I get messages from different guitar and keyboard players like, how do you do it? I'm like, buy this, watch this, and do this. Like it's just, I'm just so excited that there's, we're not facing extinction. There's gonna be more of us guitar keyboard players, coming up.
Inspired so many people, bro. I mean, I've seen Jordan Rudess and many others,
yeah.
It's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. And like I said, it's kind of become a signature or a DNA, for the band for you to do that. And it's just really fascinating. And I want to talk or ask Carlos too, like the band has evolved over the years, and you have a very powerful voice. And, I think that's something you're very known for. And so, there's a lot of, like how you guys were saying, some progressive elements a little bit, in the songs as well, woven throughout. So vocally, do you get challenged, by, the different movements of the songs and how to really, deliver your voice in certain spots and let loose in others? And how do you challenge yourself with that and kind of push yourself?
To me, I mean, working with Gabe, it's just with Immortal Guardian, it's a constant challenge, right? So the challenges are here, like in the whole the way that we see it today compared to we saw it, back in the day. My whole entire life as a singer is you know how the power metal and progressive metal fans are, right? They want to see the acrobatics, they want to see the whole thing, and
Oh yeah.
fun because we want to rock it out and we want to do it too, right? So I think like the biggest difference throughout this process of these many over decade that we've been working together is really a different approach, right? So we our concern here are with the full body of the song, right? So how is this going to contribute to the final result, right? Just taking a mindset a little bit out of, okay, how am I going to show off kind of deal,
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, like we went through several songs. You can see that I have with Immortal Guardian, I've tried things that I haven't tried before in any of my projects.
Yeah.
Like some parts they're cleaning instead of that gritty kind of high vocal. Some parts are grittier than I've ever done before. So like in the both extremes, I kind of expand throughout these years working together, and the challenges are always like it's a daily thing, man. I almost feel like, if a musician wakes up in the morning and he doesn't have anything to strive for the next step,
Yeah.
you kind of let your music die right there.
Yeah.
I think that music and singing, especially because it's such an organic instrument, right? You're every day evolving, maturing, learning. It's a constant learning process, man. I mean, no matter how much you study, I've had many vocal coaches, throughout this last 30 years doing it professionally. But at the same time, it's always something new to learn, man. There's always chops to be sharpened, and many things to learn, man, every day, honestly.
That's cool. Yeah. And the band, especially in more recent times, y'all have been releasing a lot of singles, I guess for this third album. And each song sounds like Immortal Guardian, but they're also different from one another. It doesn't sound like you're releasing the same song, and each song kind of has a different feeling or style about it, which is really cool. And Carlos, it seems like that gives you a lot of freedom to kind of, every song you're not just doing, like you said, just some gritty vocals and then the high power metal screams. It gives you freedom to kind of, do different things. Like, for example, one thing that just blew me away was, I think it was in Roots Run Deep, if I'm not mistaken, and you start out the song with just a really low kind of baritone kind of voice, and it was glorious, man. Just so cool, like hearing you do all these different things with your voice, for these songs, and it really contributes a lot to the sound.
Thanks, man. Yeah, man. Originally, I'm a baritone, so to me, adventuring into singing power metal was against all my vocal coaches and everybody in the classical training world, right? And when growing up and getting into singing, I was introduced to choirs, and things like that, in which I respect a lot the classical singing, the scholarly singing, but there wasn't anything that I was like, man, this is what I want to do in life, like many singers, they're great technical singers and whatnot, because I just loved metal so much, and I kind of wanted to just kind of like focus on that, and which, at the down the line, I never had the opportunity to kind of like use my natural register very much, so that was a tessiture that I've never explored before vocally, and I was like, you know what, dude, maybe this is time to kind of like go really low, and even on that little intro, there's a little throat singing in there, right? Using different techniques that I've never recorded before, and which was fun, so yeah, we're always challenging yourself, man, every day, man. Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool, because especially in the power metal genre, baritone is not super common at all. You just don't really get it too much. But so being able to throw that in a little bit, it just adds to the Immortal Guardian style of just kind of breaking down the barriers, just being like, we're not gonna hold ourselves in like this box. We're gonna do what we want to do, but at the end of the day, we're power metal, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna experiment a little bit, and that's just really, really cool. And how did both of y'all get into power metal to begin with? Because as we all know, I'm in South Carolina, so in the States it's not as big as other places, South America or Europe.
That's definitely like been our biggest uphill battle, is being a power metal band based in the United States. It's been a blessing and a curse. It's definitely the cons are that literally everywhere else in the world it does a little bit better, as far as like Europe and South America, and so, but it's also a blessing because we made the band here in the States. We were always playing with other local bands when we first started off, and they're all American bands with the American metal style, and America loves aggressive. They love like Slipknot, Korn, like that really awesome heavy sound, which is just not like, it's not what we do. We love it, we appreciate it, but that's just like not the music I write, But being around it all the time, I would always be like, oh, that groove's kind of cool. Like, what if we did something like that, though, with some power metal keyboards and his singing, and so it kind of like it more. I think living in America is definitely more the kind of was a big reason why we don't sound like a lot of traditional power metal, and also because I think if we just played traditional power metal growing up, people would have looked at us weird, So we always kind of won people over in America by being like, okay, I relate to this because it reminds me of insert, heavy American band, but you guys kind of have the singing of, these other bands that I like from Europe and stuff. So it's been always fun to like mash the two. But being a power metal band, it even feels weird, like over the years saying power metal. We always felt like we weren't power metal enough to call ourselves power metal. Like we've never sang once about dragons or anything, But we're not like progressive enough to be just progressive metal, because I think it was like an album or two ago, we're like, yo, 4/4 everything. Like, I want the crowd to fucking always be able to like headbang or get into it. Like, as much as we love doing the odd meter stuff over the years, like we went like musically, like high school, when we started to like, let's be as progressive as possible and now let's make better songs. And then now we're just coasting on this like, okay, like musically, Carlos, you don't got to go to the seventh octave or whatever, we can just do this. And I think people get the point, and this like, just play, harmonize the melody. Don't got to be a million. So we kind of like, over time became less power metal and less progressive, and now we're in this weird fine line. But there's other bands kind of doing this sound too, which is cool, like to hear. Like I give it a few years before it has its own name, but there's a few of us out there trying to like redefine what power metal is in the essence.
It's the new American power metal.
Yeah, right. There's some
Yeah.
new wave. We got a lot of homies that I've had this conversation with so many friends of mine, like in Paladin, Seven Kingdoms,
Oh yeah.
Seven Spires. There's a lot of great bands coming out of North America that are spinning what it means to be a power metal band. So I'm hoping there's more of this. The fans are like, I feel like we've been doing power metal almost our whole lives, so I am seeing definitely a big increase in the amount of people that like power metal in the States though. So like it's a lot better than it ever was. So that's the good news, is that because of the internet and Spotify and all these things, there's a lot more discovery of this style. And there's also a lot more bands writing this style, where we used to be one of a handful of bands. Now we're like a nice little group here.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's fascinating to see how the power metal genre has kind of changed over time. And now, power metal itself was kind of a subgenre of just, heavy metal, if you will. And then now within power metal, you have multiple subgenres of the subgenre of power metal, and many bands have kind of pioneered different styles, like kind of Beast in Black really kind of brought in that electronic element to power metal, which was kind of intriguing. And now you kind of have a modern power metal style, which kind of blends, in my opinion, a little bit of like a melodic hard rock with a power metal. And you just get all these styles, and then of course you have the power metal, I guess, through and through, fantasy dragons, big epic orchestral stuff. And then you have, some more heavier, kind of grittier, powerful power metal that kind of like you guys, with a little bit of progressive, almost like melodic metal, if you will. But, so it's just really fascinating and really cool to see it branching out in such a way, because even just a decade ago, there wasn't as much of a variety in the power metal scene, I would say. And so it's just fascinating get to see different artists kind of put their own spin on the power metal genre, and it's exciting. So it's really cool what you guys are doing, and it's a great time, I think, to be kind of doing your own style of power metal, if you will, because people are looking for that now. That we love the through and through the classic, but then we also like being surprised and having these different styles and fusions of genres, kind of. So yeah, it's just really, really neat what you guys are doing. And also fascinating how you said that the American metal style influenced you guys, and I can see that in the sound and a little bit more of the heavier approach. And it's cool that like folks in America can be like, oh man, yeah, I'm digging this. This sounds familiar, like, this kind of style. But then there's also this something extra here, which is kind of cool. So
yeah,
really,
I don't think
really
we probably wouldn't have breakdowns in our power metal songs, and these slight groovy moments if it wasn't for like the music we're constantly surrounded by. And our bassist and drummer, they're super non-power metal, and that's why I love being in a band with those dudes, because they don't like, when they joined the band, I was like, here, this is Halloween. This is where we come from. Where do you come from? And they're like, their favorite bands are what I named. They love Korn, they love Lamb of God and that kind of stuff. So to them, when they were introducing, I come up with this super power metal riff, and he just naturally gravitates towards like, an American metal style beat. I'm like, hey, whatever, that works. This, you didn't do the, you didn't do the traditional That's cool. Like let's see where it goes. And that's kind of, like I don't even feel like we try so hard to have a different sound. It's just kind of at this point just in our DNA. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
you do your thing, I do my thing. We had Zima's vocals and some keyboards. The next thing you know, it's this hybrid power metal thing.
Awesome.
But
Yeah, it most certainly doesn't sound forced, and that's something that goes a long way. That the sound, you guys sound very authentic. Because sometimes you can tell when a band is trying to be a certain way. You can hear it. You can tell. And it dilutes it, takes away from the sound of it. But when a band is authentic, that really goes a long way. So yeah, no, you guys definitely sound very authentic. And it's cool to hear kind of the background to it. Another thing I want to ask you, Gabriel, is I feel like you love just experimenting with things, because I've seen like on Instagram and other things, like you're playing guitar and you have all these crazy lights going, and there was like one video, it looked like you had some sort of Nikola Tesla experiment, in there, and you're playing guitar. Well, what's that all about? Like, can you tell me a little about that?
yeah, like one thing Immortal Guardians always loved doing is just doing wild off the wall shit. We always like, what's
Let the shreds
something
let.
yeah, what's something that like no band is doing right now? What's something that is so crazy, So we've always gravitated towards those things. So whether it's bringing lasers to, metal shows, or bringing the shred sled, we used to have this moving stage. We used to play festivals back in the day with it.
Wow.
And we just had all these crazy ideas, right? And one of the latest ones was I met these two brothers, Joe and John, and they're based out of Austin, Texas. They have a project called Architect. These guys are freaking like super, super brilliant, incredible musicians, but they're also really good at they make their own Tesla coils, and like small ones, big ones, and they're just like safety experts in that world. They know so much about it. And when I first met them, they were like, yeah, we developed this new Tesla coil with this, like, in conjunction with this pedal and this technology they were working on, that you can essentially just plug a guitar in, and it will like translate the audio of the guitar into Tesla coil like data. I really don't know the inner workings, but essentially it's like it turns this Tesla coil into a guitar amp. Would you love to try it? I'm like, booking my flights right now. I will see. So I came out and I got to do some videos with them. That was really fun. But yeah, to me, just over the years, I've always loved the live show side of things. I like the live show more than the studio. There's something about watching something that you cannot explain, that just is super epic and cool. That Tesla Coils definitely being one of them. When I first started playing, all my arm hairs were raising up, and I couldn't tell if it was like, I was asking him, is it the coils in the room, or am I just like having a freaking out of body experience? It's surreal, And then
It's so loud, man.
we'll have a laser piano on tour, so we'll play piano that shoots out laser beams, and we just like, I don't know, we always try to find a way to visually take it to the next level, even if it's like an installation somewhere, or we're on tour, whatever it is. So yeah, I think Immortal's always we've always had a lot of fun with like what can we do before before the world, before everyone and their mothers has a Tesla coil amp,
Right.
But yeah, big shout out to my boys Architect, because they make these crazy things, and I've got to travel with them playing the Tesla coil. Like, I've got to go to different places with them do it.
Yeah, dude. And the big ones are even louder than any
man.
speaker, anything I've ever heard.
Like the big one, like if I play
loud.
a chord on it, it's like as loud as like a motorcycle. Like the video doesn't do it justice. It's just like, it's surreal. It's like literally lightning across the room,
Yeah, like the arcs coming out, and
Yep.
It's the actual electricity that is making that sound. That's the craziest thing,
Yeah, so many comments are like, your amp sounds like crap. I'm like, dude, there's no amp. Like you're listening to lightning, like you not realize how insane this is. It's like or people think it's with AI and all these things, man. Like downplay it. I get it. I've seen so many things online that I question myself, but those guys are very much real. Like, you know, you can Google them and their videos are insane. Like they'll wear these suits, these special suits so that they can touch, you know, the lightning and stuff. And yeah, it's super epic. But yeah, we got some
ride the lightning, like truly now, right?
No fear, man.
Yeah.
Those guys are great.
Yeah, so that was really nice to work with them. But yeah, man, there's always Immortal Guardian, so it's just trying to find a way to do the non-traditional, you know,
Yeah.
thing.
Sweet. You know, even the music videos you guys put out are very visual and have a lot of really cool things going on there. And I know for this time around in particular, you know, you've been releasing a lot of singles. Like, was there been like 5 maybe already?
Something like that, you
Not
know.
5.
We're trying something new, you know, like I had an electronic project for a bit, and when I was doing that whole world, I noticed that the way like DJs and EDM producers were releasing music was like they had this model and metal bands have this model. Yet I think this one works, you know, I just feel like a lot of these DJs are kind of more up with the times and they're spitting out music like crazy, right? It's a lot easier to produce a song alone as opposed to getting, you know, a whole group of dudes to go into the studio and record the instruments. It's not like, you know, it's still hard work, right? But
No,
they
of
don't
course.
go to the studio and it's not as long of a process. But
And it's all going straight into the computer pretty much too, because it's all electronic. You're not trying to get, you know, anything acoustic drums and all that kind of stuff. So
But long story short, I remember when I was in that world, and a lot of my DJ colleagues and producer friends, no one at all at the time, like a very small percentage, were interested in releasing albums. Almost everybody I knew was like single, 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 single. And I'm sitting here like coming from the metal world, like, why are you guys doing that? Like, don't you want to release an album? They're like, why? You know, at the end of the day, um, you're kind of constantly giving your fans. It's like having a child and you give them a gift every month as opposed to making them wait for Christmas, you know. So if you make them wait once a year or once every 2 years for a little something from you guys, why not like constantly remind them, hey, we got more music, we got more music. It's like they're gonna get the same amount of gifts anyways, but you're just kind of scattering it out through
Christmas all year.
yeah, to kind of come consistently. And I kind of like that. And we asked their label, like, hey, you know, I know this is, once again, this is non-traditional, but can we try a little something here and just put out a crap ton of singles, you know? And at the end of the day, we can also kind of see like, you know, because all the singles sound so different from each other. One of them was really fast, the other one was a ballad, the other one's heavy, the other one was more progressive. We have all these vibes going on. We're like, before the album even comes out, we can know what the people want to hear more of, and we can make more music like that, or make more videos like that, or whatever. So it's just something that we're trying out. I know a lot of bands aren't really doing it, but once again, you know, we're just trying to keep up with the times and release all our singles before AI just destroys every musician in the world. And just, you know, things are getting so crazy. So to me, it's just like, might as well just you know, I've never felt so much in my life like just get it out there, as opposed to like, oh, we got to wait till it's perfect. We got to have a big grand release, and you know, it's just get it out there. You know, have some fun. Someone's gonna enjoy it. You know.
But
Well, it's funny you mentioned.
Sorry, what were we saying?
No, you go ahead, Carlos.
No, no, nowadays lots of bands, mainstream bands, you know, are adopting this same style of release, you know. You see Mastodon, Megadeth, like a bunch of, you know, other bands. Just because like the scene worldwide kind of like asked for a different approach because of the technologies that we use nowadays to listen to music, you know. And at the time, it certainly was, you know, very against the traditional label kind of way of thinking. But at the same time, if you think about it, it gives you also more time to edit like a badass video. Now you have like one music video for every release that you have. You got a whole entire period of time, whatever it's every month or every couple of months. So you have that period of time to actually package your product differently you know, and deliver it with better quality than just, oh yeah, let's just put this whole album out. And then 3 months down the road, even though you had 10 songs, 3 months down the road, you're already irrelevant to the scene because they're constant releases every day, right?
Yeah.
So you don't create that momentum, you know, and that's what we were kind of searching for too. Like, and in terms of numbers, it's a huge difference for us, you know? So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
a good point that, yeah.
I don't know how accurate it is, but I saw like a meme today, like somebody posted, and it said, like I said, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but it said, I totally believe it. 150,000 songs, I think, are uploaded per day to streaming services.
Wow.
So if you happen to put out your entire album on a day that freaking, I don't know, Metallica or whatever decides to drop something, it's so easy for it to just get caught in the wind, and
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't get the love it deserves. So to me, putting out one song is just kind of like, it also gives it a little bit, it gives it a little bit more time. To me, I don't know why I always love comparing music to food, but like it's like a course, right? If you put out everything on the table, you're just kind of like, oh, where do I start? What do I, you know?
Yeah.
But if you kind of bring things one at a time, like here, enjoy this first.
Yeah.
Like really savor it, really enjoy the moment. When you're done, another thing's coming, as opposed to like you're at a buffet line or whatever, and it's just you're so overwhelmed, you don't
Yeah.
realize that that one thing would have been your favorite thing, but you never got to it because there's just so much
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
option.
that's fascinating.
That's
And
how
to
I feel.
even go with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just even going with that metaphor, even like at a buffet, you get everything you want, but then
Yeah.
it's all kind of together. So it takes away a little bit of the enjoyment of each individual thing because you're eating everything kind of together. So you're not focusing on just the one. So yeah, and I think it's a very apt metaphor as far as that goes. And like you said, it gives longevity to the album or just the band, keeping the band like always like there in the spotlight, like, hey, every month, you know, here's a new song, here we are. Don't forget about us. And then it's fascinating too, because in this day and age, how you were saying so much stuff is uploaded all the time that people's attention spans have gotten a lot smaller too. So it's like they're much more likely to latch on to a single that has a music video. And I've talked to many other bands kind of about this topic, and they've told me, you know, every single one has told me that even when their album goes like on Spotify or what have you, the songs they released as singles, like they'll have like 3 songs that have lots and lots of views or listens or plays. Every song on the album that wasn't released as a single doesn't have nearly as much, is because folks aren't sitting down and listening to albums really as much anymore. Yes, you still have definitely folks that do, but it's not as common. So you have people that just, they like hearing the singles, they'll put that in a playlist and listen to that single all the time, but then they won't sit down and actually listen to the full album.
Yeah, exactly.
very true.
And it's you know, we'll even see it in our statistics. We'll see like a spike and a spike and a spike, and like, what were those spikes? Oh, so every time we release a single. What was that spike? Oh, that was when we released the album. It's like it looks like the other spikes, you know what I mean? So instead of just you know, it's like being a magician. You do your coolest trick at the very beginning. It's like, why? You know, so it's like
Yeah,
you gotta really, you know, you gotta make that whole hour, 2 hour show, you know, like you said, you know, put it out as opposed to just one massive trick. And if the audience blinked, oh, you know, so that's how I feel about the upstreams per day. Like that is an insane amount of music being, and it's only that number's gonna go up. Like it just I've been watching the world of like, you know, AI and how easy it is to make things now. I'm like, man, those numbers are about to tenfold, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be the world is about to change a lot really, really soon, really fast. And it's kind of fun to be on the ride, right? You know, to kind of
Yeah.
see how we're gonna all how different the music industry is gonna be. So
It's kind of fun, but it's kind of scary too.
it really is, you know. It's exciting because it's the unknown, and we
Yeah.
love the unknown because it, you know, it gives you something to look forward to and something that to feel like, ooh, like to everything in life, there's good and bad. What good can we do with what's about to happen? You know, like even with the pandemic, remember when it happened, it sucked so bad. It really did. We lost all our we at the time we had gotten so many tour offers we've never been offered before, like to finally tour with some huge bands and do some great things. So we got our credit cards and we were like, all right, let's buy that bus that we need and the gear. Like this is the year, man. So we were like massive debt, and we were like, oh no, what are we gonna do? We lost, there's no more. It's not like we can make the money back right away. All these, So at the time, it definitely sucked. But we're like, well, what are the pros? Well, no one's expecting us to hit the road. Maybe we can write an album. Maybe we can do this or that. And then we wrote that album, Psychosomatic, which would have never happened if we weren't in a lockdown during the pandemic. And that to me is like some of my favorite work that I've done with the guys. So it's like kind of we've always been good at getting something that happens in the world, and then we're like, all right, there's good and bad to all of this, of course, but let's just try to see how we can grow and do something. Like, how do we do something artistically with this rather than like throw our hands up in the air and go, oh, let's just wait for the storm to end.
Yeah, that's a great mentality to have. Yeah, I know that affected lots of folks, and to your point, how if not for that, you wouldn't have even created Psychosomatic. I think there's many albums that were released that would not have been if everyone was not locked down and just kind of in their studios just recording, because what else are you going to do? So I think we got a lot of pandemic albums. It's kind of like what do they call it? You know how we got like all the kids after like Vietnam and all that stuff. All the babies, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like that, where it's like these are like pandemic albums, just albums that wouldn't have existed, without the pandemic. So yeah, that was just interesting. And so speaking of live shows, though, do you guys have any coming up this year? Any on the horizon?
Right now we're in talks with some tours. Right now we're not like obviously haven't announced it yet, but we will be having some stuff later this year. To be playing out these new songs and play some Psychosomatic stuff on the road. But right now we're just mainly focused on getting this album out to everyone, and, making a few more music videos and all that good stuff.
Yeah, our work has been, the last few years, a lot on North America, South America. We did some other tours, Russia and then some other places. And but we just closed a deal with a Japanese release. And also we have management now in Europe, and we also just about to announce our distribution in Europe as well. So soon, our work is gonna be to get the band out in Europe and Japan. South America, we've been getting a lot of hits to tour South America as well. So a lot of international stuff is gonna happen, but it's all on the works. We can't like announce yet, but
sure.
Yeah, but we'll soon be announcing, more international touring as well. So
we're trying some new things, so that's gonna be pretty fun.
That's awesome. So it's a good time to be an Immortal Guardian fan. It sounds like, because the expansion is come, the global takeover is happening. It's in the works. So yeah. But sweet. Well, thank you guys so much again for taking the time to chat with me. I really, really appreciate it. And so you said the third full-length album is coming out later this year. We can all look forward to that, and possibly some more singles before then.
Singles, some covers. We're gonna be having some fun with some stuff, and also making lots of, silly videos. Whether it's Shark Tank parodies or whatever. We love making comedy videos, so we're definitely putting out a lot of that, to kind of also like show off some teasers of the music within those videos. So just keep an eye out, follow us on our socials if you guys are interested in seeing kind of like the journey and what the next single and the next pretty much chapter of the story is going to be.
Awesome. Yeah, well, folks, I'm going to put all of the Immortal Guardian social media stuff, links in the description down below, as well as links to some of their recent singles, all that good stuff, so you can follow them, keep up to date with all the latest news, and follow them as they take over the world. It's going to be exciting. So yeah, keep up with all that and check out their songs if you haven't already. Like I said, links to some of their recent music videos in the description below. So click that, go check it out, and then follow their socials and their pages and everything like that. But one last time, Gabriel and Carlos, thank you again. You guys rock. Looking forward to the future of the band, and just so stoked that you took the time to chat with me. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
Of
us,
course,
man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bro. Thanks for supporting the scene, bro.
No, absolutely. So yeah, that's what I got for you folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next time. Ranger
Awesome.
out.
Take care. Ranger out.